Okay, this video is an introduction to Poser, and so I have poser6. I think 7 is the latest version. Hopefully this isn't too different, but let's go ahead and get busy here. Okay, so this is the main viewport for Poser, and you can see that this is just the default character in 6 that comes up. His name is James Casual. If you click here, James Casual. As far as that goes, kind of an overview. There's a window or a folder here, a menu here, where we have figures, poses. Okay, different poses, different expressions, hair, hands, props, lights, and cameras. Under figures, what's neat is Poser does have different animals that you can load. Okay, and you can get others. You can certainly buy others or get some free. And then we've got Ben, which is a young guy. We've got cartoon stuff. Here's James. Jesse is same age as James, only a girl, obviously. Kate, new figures. And then there's other figures from Poser 1 through 4, 5, robots, blah blah blah. Okay, so we'll stick with James here. If we open up James, here's the regular James version. He'll have no clothes on. Here's James Casual that has clothes on already, and James High Res, which is a more detailed model, and he has no clothes as well. Now, we can change out the figure, or we can create a new figure so that you have two together. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click Change Figure, and we'll go ahead and say OK to this. And would you like to keep this figures? Just go ahead and load it in there. Okay, so there he is. And as you can see, he's not as detailed as he could be. Kind of got the Spider-Man look there, but there is a button to turn on certain other body parts that I'll leave turned off. So just look over under figure and you'll find it, which is right here. Okay, so now as far as that goes, though, since we're talking about the library and loading things, let's go ahead and cover how to actually put clothing on James depending on what you want to do, and we'll kind of cover a scenario here. So if we come down to props, okay, you want to match the props to the figure that you're working with. In other words, here I am in props, and here's James' clothing. That's going to work best. If you try to use Jesse, well, people will just make fun of him, and the point is that it just won't fit right. Okay, so if we go into James' clothing, alright, we got his boxers, we got some glasses, we got a jacket, some jeans, and pretty much all the stuff. Now you'll notice that most of these say conforming, and that's very important because the program can conform the clothing to the figure. So if you've changed the figure in some way, the clothing will figure that out and conform to it. So let's go ahead and put some board shorts on James here. There we go. And I'm immediately going to come over to figure and say conform to, and then I pick the figure that it conforms to, which of course is James Casual. We hit OK, and there it goes up to the right waistline and does everything else that it should do. Okay, and I guess I don't know, all things considered, maybe we'll put a shirt on him too. So here's a t-shirt, green, and we'll see it comes in, and then we go up to figure and say conform to, and we'll pick James as well, and there we go. At any given time, if we click on an object, you can see that now it's James. And if we come over here to shirt and select shirt, if you want to get rid of a figure, you can come up to figure and say delete figure, and it'll say are you sure, and then his shirt goes away. Alright, so there's how to kind of load things in and you want to make sure to use that conform. If you go in and try to make the clothing fit to the character, you'll be there all day. You got to get conforming clothing. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit more about the interface. You'll notice that there's a circle around the figure. This is the I call it the sphere of influence. I don't know. Travis showed me some stuff about this program, so shout out to Travis, and the rest I'm self-taught. So what they call all this stuff and what else lurks back here that I don't know about is probably quite a bit. But anyway, here's the editing tools, and if you come over here, you can see we have rotate, and to do the whole figure, you do the circle. Okay, so there's that. Let's go ahead and undo that. That's not a real handy thing to do. Here's twist, and that of course twists. Now this is twisting the figure in space, like actually rotating it. We'll get over how to look around the viewport in a minute. So here's translate pull, where we can actually move the figure around. Okay. Translate in and out, scale, and so on. I'm always real careful scaling the figure because I've found that the clothes don't match up then, and I don't know if you have to reconform them or what, but I try not to do that too much. So that's how you can translate the whole figure. But what you can do is if you pick on a part of the figure, let's say we pick on the top of the hand here, and then we go to translate, well then we can just click on this, and when we pull it, the rest of the figure has a hierarchical structure, and it'll go with it. Okay, so James is going to fly away here in a minute, so let's go undo, and then well, I guess we'll leave that. This is not a good way to pose a figure, because you can do things that are really going to hurt James, leave a permanent mark. The best way to pose a figure is to come in and pick the part of the body that's going to control the rest of the figure that you want. Like for instance, he's kind of leaning over, so I'm going to start with his stomach, and then you come over here and you use these transform parameters. Okay, so now we can go side to side and tip him back up. Okay, I can click on his upper arm and say it goes front to back or bends like so, and I can pick his shoulder and get it back down so that his shoulders are in line with each other. Okay, here we can go twist and get his arm to come back forward, and then of course his arm we can go side to side and get it back down. Okay, so that's how you sit and tweak. Otherwise, like I say, you want to raise his foot, you can grab his foot and raise it up, and up it goes. Forgot to say Simon Says, but alright, so there's that part of it. Now over here are the camera controls. If you want to rotate about the figure, you come over here and click, and now we're zooming around the world. We're not changing the figure, we're changing the camera. Okay? Over here is translate, so we can move in and out, back and forth. So in the middle is all movement. Over here is move just X and Y, not Z, not toward me. And of course over here is Z and Y, so it can go up and toward, but not side to side. Okay? There's quite a bit of control. We can click here, go to bend, go to front to back. Alright, go here, bend, and you can sit and pose this guy, however you want. You can also do faces. Right here is face cam. Since you work on the face quite a bit, this will zoom right to his face. And then if you click on his head, then you notice that you get a ton of different transforms for the face. In other words, if you come over to lips, okay, and then we'll scroll down here, you can make him smile. Okay, you can make him smile with teeth. Okay. If he's in kind of a sassy mood, you could come over here to eyes, and you could make his eyes smile where he's kind of, hey, yeah. And then here his eyes go up or down. You can make him look different ways. You can come over to brow and go up left, so he's looking a little more surprised maybe. And it kind of goes on and on and on and on. And so you can really mouth open more. All depends on, you can even shift his jaw. Okay, that, hey, how you doing? And all depends on if your jewelry's ever going to get big enough to where you can see all that detail. But anyway, so the next neat thing that you can do, what I thought I would do for the tutorial, is bring in something from Matrix and bring it into the viewport so you can pose compared to that object, which is not really that hard to do. So over here in Matrix we have a ring, just a simple ring, okay? And I'm going to select that ring and go File, Export Selected. And the file format that you want to use to go in and out of Poser is the OBJ file, Wavefront OBJ. So let's go ahead and we'll call this ring. I'll overwrite this. Do you want to replace? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, we want to do a polygon mesh. Curves are curves. And go figure. And Windows is what we're working in. So we say OK. Now, if your program comes up with simple control, you need to go to detailed. And for this purpose, I don't need a ton of resolution, so I'm going to go 0.6 on the density, and Pack Textures is not going to do anything here because there's no materials on it. And we say OK. And out goes my object. So then I can come over here and let's zoom out a little bit, and we can go File, Import, and OBJ, and we'll come over here and get my ring open, and I want it centered. Let's go ahead and do that, and I'm just going to say OK. I did it at 100% of the figure, so it should be about the same size. I probably should have made it bigger, but we'll scale it. Okay, so now with the ring selected, and you can see here's ring, I'm going to go ahead and rotate this on the X, I believe. Yes, rotate X, and I'm going to go -90 so that that is standing straight up. And then we can translate this. So there's translate on the Y. Okay. And let's go ahead and go scale. And we can just scale this thing up. Okay, so there's our relationship of James to our ring. Now, I thought it would be fun to have James sitting on the shoulder, kind of leaning on the table of the stone. Why, I don't know, but that's my idea. So let's come over to Library, and we'll pick James. Alright, so now James is selected, and we'll go to Poses. And let's start back at the beginning. So here we go and match the figure once again, which is James pose. And then we want sitting. And we've got all sorts of stuff. We got action and business and conversation, blah, blah, blah. But we want sitting on a chair. And the one that I was kind of thinking was this one, where he's kind of sitting and leaning on something. So we'll click that and hit go, and there he is. Okay, so there's James chilling, sitting out on gonna be sitting out on a ring. So here we'll go to translate, and we'll click on his sphere of influence. Oh, we got to pick him. There's James. There's his sphere, and we'll go. Oh no, I'm still on the ring. James Casual. There we go. And oh, he's effectively moving up, but everything else is moving down, it looks like. So there's James going up, and then we'll go over. And now we'll go ahead and zoom in here and really tweak and see if we can get him set just the way we want him. So let's take a look at how he's shaping up here. I would say that's really not too bad. Okay, so let's get his arm kind of sitting down on that. So we'll click on his shoulder and go down. And then we'll click on his arm and go front to back down, like so. And we can click on, actually a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just go to translate and grab his foot to get his leg to come up. So every once in a while I do grab something and just move it. Here, let's pick his upper leg here, if we can. Oops, there we go. And we'll go side to side with it. And there, that went through his hand, so we'll raise his arm up a little bit. There we go, and also his wrist up a little to get that up off his. And you can even, once you grab his hand, you'll notice that oops, his hand, you've got all sorts of ways that you can control his hand. Like if you were going to do like somebody grabbing a bar or something, then you could do the grasp. Alright, so if we want his hands a little more relaxed like so, then we can grab this and twist it to get it, oops, hey, there's his hand, to get that a little bit out of his. So there's James sitting on the ring, having a good time. Now the one thing that looks a little weird is, oops, that's an undo, edit, undo, is this foot going up, and the same with this one. So I would bend these down a little bit, like he's a little more relaxed. So here and here, like so, and then we'll turn that a little bit this way. There we go. And we could also take his head and go side to side a little bit, so he's a little more hip there. Alright, so I guess you get the idea there. And there's James hanging out on top of our ring. At this point, we would export just him. And so to do that, we can simply go File, Export as an OBJ file, and it says select the range of frames. Now you can do animation in here, and maybe we'll look at that super quick, but I'm going to do a single frame. I only need one character. Okay, and here's what we have. We have the universe, the ground. I don't need the ground. I have James Casual, and all the things here. You can see the hierarchy of all the things. Starts with the body, hip bone connected to the abdomen, to the chest, blah blah blah. Okay, and then we have his swim trunks. Those all come with them, and then we have the ring, and I don't need the ring back. I already have the ring. Okay, although I can certainly export the ring with him. Doesn't really matter. So I'll say OK, and here's ring sitter. We'll replace that one. Include body part names. None of this is really important. I include the figure names in the polygon groups, just so you know a leg is a leg and so on. And then weld body part seams is a good idea, because generally when you come out of poser, you want to be pretty much done posing and you just put the things back together in matrix. So let's go back to matrix. And the one weird thing about poser that I've never been able to figure out is that when he comes back in, any figure from poser, compared to the matrix world, it's super small. So here's the figure, this little pink dot. I'm going to immediately put him on this layer. And now we could have brought the ring in too, and they would be the same aspect and size with each other, but I can really probably pretty quickly get him back. So there's how James came in, and we'll get him up over here and get him scaled up some more. And let's switch to the shade mode here. So there he is. Got his swim trunks too. Let's move him over here. So there he is, sitting there. Got his arm resting on the prong. That's why he's James Casual, man. He's just chilling. Alright. So that's kind of creepy, but there he is. Okay, a few other things you should know about poser is where to get models and different props, and there are a ton of stuff out there. There's people that sit, I swear, in their basement of their parents' house and make like lingerie for Victoria and just all sorts of stuff. The first site that you should go to though is Daz 3D, DAZ 3D, and in the poser community there's two main figures that most things are built for, and those are Michael and Victoria, and they come from Daz 3D. So if we go and do a search for Michael base, okay, then I get some girl gesture pack for some reason. So let's go Michael, just Michael. There we go. There's Michael the Merman. Here's the Michael 4 base, okay, and it's free. If you join their community here, you can download the latest Michael figure for free. But let's say we want to do a military ring. That's certainly one that I've worked on before. Okay, so here you can get a prop, Black Hawk helicopter. And one thing that I will say, here's the modern Desert Soldier for M3, Michael 3. So at that point, we know we have to go search out and get Michael 3. Okay, and somewhere around here is going to be the base figure for Michael 3. Here's all the gene sets and and warrior spear dudes and hero poses for Michael. So you can buy poses, you can buy props, you can buy textures for rendering. We'll maybe do a quick render. It kind of goes on and on and on. Let's just do a search for M3. Yeah, there's the Michael 3 base. It's $40. So if you want some of these other ones, you got to get the Michael 3 base, because it'll say what they're for. Okay. For instance, there's another figure that goes on top of Michael, and it's called the Freak. Okay, so if we do a search for the Freak, here's the Freak. He's another $40, and he goes on top of Michael so that his muscle sets can go way exaggerated, like a bodybuilder. And here I have a ring that I worked on where the logo was bodybuilders over the world, and I went ahead and bought the Freak for this, and then modeled the weights and the world in Matrix. There's another view of it there. You can see the Freak. You can get the weight lift. I actually, the shirt, I couldn't find one I liked, so I made this, and since I milled it, I just had it floating over that. But the shorts came with the Freak, I think, or I might have bought a gym. I think I bought a gym pack for him. So anyway, that's Daz 3D, and again, Victoria. So if you just did a search for V4, you'd find, well, I guess, I don't know what they call it, but here comes all the crazy stuff. But if you do a search for Victoria, you'll find her here as well. Another site to look at is Renderosity. They have a ton of different stuff for poser stuff. And another site is poserworld.com. Poserworld. Ready to use Poser and Daz 3D Studio content, or 3D merchant stuff. So as far as that goes, if you want to just start fresh, you can go File, New, don't save, and you're gonna get a figure to start out with. It's gonna be James Casual. You can have a lot of fun with Poser too. Let's grab his hips right here, and you can also do animation. Okay, where if we go to keyframe, let's go right in the middle of 30 frame animation, and we'll pull his hips down, and of course the rest of him's gonna follow. And maybe we'll have some fun and put his arms out. Okay, so we'll click there and click there. There goes James. So we do that, then we'll move on to a new frame, and we'll stand him up again and put his arms back down. Okay, so now we're doing animation here, and you can hit play, and there's our animation. And then you can render the animation. So animation, make movie, and you can pick size of the viewport, type of file. There's all the render settings. The renderer, let's do sketch. That's kind of fun. You can do a preview render, which is faster. You can do let's go AVI. There we go. So let's hit make movie. Then it's going to ask us what we'll just do untitled Save, yes. Yeah, here we go. It's asking us the compression that we want, and I'm just gonna pick full frames uncompressed AVI. It'll be fast and it'll play. So I'm gonna hit pause here till it's done. And there's our animation of James doing something. So that's how to get models in and out, do some posing. That's pretty much how it works.